All right, guys, welcome back to another Master and Apprentice video and podcast. How you doing today, Afton?
I'm not doing too shabby. How about you, Sammy?
I'm doing very shabby. So last year, around this time, it was actually a little bit after, it was kind of September, we ranked every set from the previous year for Lego Star Wars. We went from worst to best, just kind of giving you opinion, what sets to grab before they retired, that kind of thing. So this year we're going to be doing every set that came out for Star Wars Lego 2022. Again, we'll be going from the worst to the best. This is our opinion, but it is, it's fact. So just take it
Yeah.
without a grain of salt or with a grain of salt. You can choose how much you like sodium today. But with that, you want to start us off, Afton?
Yes, sir. We're gonna start off with the clearly worst set of the year, ATST set number 75332. It's the 4+ set. Costs $35. You're spending too much on a kid that's 4 years old that is gonna probably eat most of these pieces. The set, there was nothing really to advertise that was just amazing about the set. It all around price per piece wasn't good. There was just nothing there to like. Next up on number 15, we got the Razor Crest Microfighter, set number 75321, coming in at $10, as all microfighters should. This one is just a bit too clunky. Nothing crazy bad about it. Nothing crazy good about it. It was this set had a lot. This year had a lot of good sets, so it was hard to pick some of these bad ones. But this microfighter had nothing unique to give.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a little bit clunky in my opinion. The next we got number 14. This was Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Vader, set 75334. It's $50. This is a hit and miss for some people. I kind of liked it, but for a play set, it was pretty much a display only, and it was a weird display. I thought this was overpriced. I thought this was a $40 set at the most. Um, this one I think has potential to grow and become more valuable monetarily, but also just opinion wise as it goes on. But just right now, I don't think it's worth that $50 to anybody. Then we go to set number 13 on our list, Boba Fett's Throne Room, set 75326 for $100. Now this has a pretty decent minifig selection, more quantity, obviously. Um, but the build lacks a lot. It's very skimpy. It's not very beautiful looking. The play features are hit and miss on some things. It's not a very good build, right? And they're pretty much advertising for $100 the minifig selection. And I just don't think the minifigs carry for this one, at least not for $100. I think 80 would have been fine, but yeah.
Yeah. Number 12, we got the Hoth ATST, set number 75322. That's $50. It was a play set. There's nothing really bad about it. It had this cool little probe droid, but it just cost too much. Every time I'd see it in the stores, I would just be looking at that and be like, wow, that thing's really still going for $50. Holy crap. It has enough pieces to go good for price per piece, but it's just nothing to offer. It's just mid as all can be. Number 11, we got the Justifier, 75323. It was $170. This one was a hard decision for us. It had a lot of good minifigures to add. It was a pretty decent ship. It wasn't an amazing, like, it had about two functions and not a lot of room inside. You could take off the lid to mess with the cockpit, raise up the tail to play with the landing gear to turn it on, open and close the landing gear, and then yeah, the minifigures, and that's it. So it was like really nothing great about it, nothing bad. It wasn't amazing, but for $170, the build was just way too small. They either needed to lower the price down to like 140, 150, or figure
150
something out.
fine. Yeah, it's just massively overpriced. One of the more overpriced sets of the year. A lot of what you're going to see for a lot of these, the problem for them is that they're overpriced, which is just going to happen for a while. We're in the middle of a semi inflation peak right now for a lot of just toys and Legos. So then we go to our number 10 spot. We have Ambush on Ferrex, set 75338 for $70. I like this set a lot. I thought it was pretty cool, but for $70, I felt like we're missing something. The ship isn't very big. It's thick, but it's not very big. And again, they tried to sell you on the price point by just adding an extra little speeder bike. It just doesn't do it. Not for $70. I think this could easily be a $50 set and be on the high end of this list. For $70, I think we're missing something else. Get rid of the speeder bike and add another mini ship or like a land speeder maybe, or keep with the price but add 2 more minifigures. I just think it's missing. Then we go to our number 9 spot, the Mandalorian's N1 Starfighter set 75325 for $60. This set is average. It's like right in the middle of our list for a reason. It's good, but it also is a little bit overpriced. For $60, this is a $50 set. All you get is Grogu, the Mandalorian, Pello, the mechanic lady, and BD1, right? So you get 2 half minifigures. You get a little droid, and you get Grogu, and then you get 2 whole minifigures, right? For $60, you feel like you should be getting more. The build is pretty good, but it's not a $60 build. It's like a 40, 45. So I think it's just about $10 overpriced. That's why it's kind of in the middle, because it's a pretty good set, but I think it's about $10 overpriced. A lot of these sets, again, are just overpriced, and it's kind of what's holding them back.
Yeah, he's 100% right. This next one, Dark Trooper Attack 75324. It was $35. It was just a weird set. There's nothing really bad about this set. It was cool that you had so many Dark Troopers, and that's really the selling point of it. It's a unique minifigure. You get Luke Skywalker all cool and all that stuff, and it's a cool hallway scene. But then at the end of the day, there's no reason to buy more than one of these, with the exception of the minifigures. If you want to go army building or a whole army of Dark Troopers, go for it. But what are you going to do with those other pieces? You have a long, long hallway now? You have 30 and Luke Skywalkers? Like, what in the world? And it's $35. If they made this a $20 battle pack and they just included a little bit smaller of the hallway, I could see it, but holy crap, it just seems too overpriced for me. Or not overpriced, the build is just too bad. The next one, number 7, Clone Trooper Command Station, set number 40558. This is a minifigure pack for $15. This is where we're getting into good stuff. There is nothing bad about this set at all. You get 3 minifigures. You get the 2 just troopers, and I believe the 1 captain. I'm not 100% sure about that last one's name, but
like that.
Yeah, he's just higher. You get 3 of them, and then you get the 2 little mini builds so that they can operate in. And it's $15. 3 minifigures, $5 a minifigure plus a little build. There's nothing wrong about that set. It's just middle of the road, honestly, and it's a good price point too. That's really why we put it so high up on the list.
Yeah. Then we go number 6, Defensive Hot Sets number 40557. Another minifigure pack for $15. Its selling point above the Clone Trooper battle pack. I know our minifigure pack. I know the clone ones are more popular, but I think the Defensive Hoth one's just a little more well-rounded. I think the build's just a little bit better, which, I mean, it's not much of a build. They're very tiny, but it's a little bit better in my opinion. And then I think the fact that it doesn't have a clone, or not a clone, a captain print on it specifically, kind of boosts it further. It kind of makes it more valuable for army building, because all you have to do is switch the heads, right? For the captain, you can't switch, the helmet, because the print on the body is still different. So I think that holds that one back. I think it's more accessible. Then we break our top 5, with number 5 being Republic Fighter Tank set 75342 for $40. Now, this one is a very great set. This one, it was hard to bring it down this low for me personally. But before I get into the cons of it, the pros are obviously the clones. We get 187th purple clones. These are Legends clones. I don't know if we're ever going to see that again. So that is, that's immensely valuable right there in that. And obviously the Mace Windu, that it was great to get a new Mace Windu, and he looked fabulous. And then the 2 droids were nice. The build is cool, but I think it's just too weak. For $40, I felt like the tank, it wasn't a very good tank. I felt like the tanks in previous years were a little bit better, a little bit stronger, a little bit sturdier. And obviously this one cost a little bit more because of inflation, but I felt like it didn't meet the standards of the previous fighter tanks. And so I just, compared to other fighter tanks, I couldn't have it much higher.
Yeah, that was a great one overall. I like that set. Moving on to number 4, we got Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter, set number 75333. This was a $30 play set. It was a good set overall. I liked the ship. There was nothing unique about the ship. It was just a regular ship. Then you had unique minifigure of Obi-Wan. I can't remember whatever the Kaminoan's name is, but it was like Yawn or something like that.
Conway.
Yes, definitely what I said. Hanrei, Yawn, something like that. I don't know, but it's a unique minifigure right there, getting a Kaminoan. Now, if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the first times we get a Kaminoan in minifigure form. It's the very first one. I always get scared saying the very first, but the very first time we see a Kaminoan in minifigure form. $30, it's not overpriced. You put it at $25, this would be the top of our list. But it's not bad by any means. There's no negative thing we can say about it. It's a good ship, good minifigure selection. I like it all. Number 3, we got the Snow Trooper Battle Pack, set number 75320. There is this was really hard to put above the Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter. You get with this one, you get a speeder, you get 3 snow troopers, and 1 scout trooper. So if you want army building, you get a unique amount from this. You buy 5 of these sets, you're going to get 15 snow troopers, and you're going to have 5 scout troopers. You can have different things added up, and then you're going to have speeders on top with a little bit. This is beautiful for mock building. It's a great battle pack overall. Just barely beat the Starfighter, in my opinion.
For a battle pack, their selling point is it's an army builder. And this doesn't get much better for army building than this. It's perfect. It's what you expect for army building set. So it's why it's one of the top sets. Number 1 and 2 are so close. But number 2, we put the ATTE Walker set 75337 for $140. Now, this set was highly anticipated, and it really did not disappoint. The problem with it is a lot of the clone trooper printing was pretty weak. For a lot of people, a lot of collectioner, perfectionists, collectors, all of that, a lot of people were disappointed in the printing. And I can agree, the printing for the clones was done poorly. That's got to mark it down just a little bit for everybody. For $140, you're paying a high price point. You expect the printing on the helmets to be top notch, like we've seen, previously, but it wasn't, and it's highly disappointing to see something like that. Not to mention, I know a lot of people didn't really care. I personally didn't care, but I had to keep this in mind while ranking it. Was instead of getting a spider droid, we really should have been getting a crab droid. That's what that scene was. It was the Utapau scene in Revenge of the Sith. There were no spider droids on that scene. There were only crab droids, which I know that would have been the first time getting it, but it would have been, you wouldn't have to do any unique building for that or get a new mold for that. You just build a new, crab droid. Like, it would have been cool to have that for the first time. We never got that. That marks it down for a lot of people. Obviously, the Commander Cody was awesome to get that in, phase 2 for the first time ever, but I think he was also poorly done. I thought the printing in some spots was, kind of weak. So just a kind of, a couple of things that brought it down, but obviously that set was one of the best sets this year. And we had a number 2. I'm just trying to rip it down to kind of show you why we had the next one at number 1, because it's kind of hard to not put the ATT at number 1. I loved it. Apton loved it. The fans loved it. Everyone loved it. It was a great set. And I have a couple of them already, but it just couldn't beat number 1. And our number 1 is the Inquisitor Transport Scythe set 75336 for $100. I just think this set is one of the most well-rounded sets. When you paid for a set, I didn't think this was overpriced at all. Most of the top 5 sets I didn't think were overpriced. Maybe by a couple bucks at the most, but just for the most part, they all seemed fair. This one I thought was the most fair, right? For the build, it seemed so fair. And then I thought for the minifigure selection, they smashed it out of the park. There wasn't much more of a minifigure that I wanted to see out of this, right? I know Kenobi was disappointing for some people for the show, but what Lego got for, what to build off of, I think it was 1-to-1. It was perfect. The minifigures are great. The Grand Inquisitor, the Fifth Brother, Revo, however you want to say it, and then Kenobi. I just think this is one of the sets that are going to build the most interest and value over time, and I don't think it has much flaw at all in it, if I'm being honest. I think out of all of the sets, this set has the least flaw in it, and so that's why I had to put number 1. It's just the most well-rounded, perfect set you could have asked for this year. And to be honest, this whole summer had a lot of good sets. Putting sets like Kenobi versus Darth Vader at number 14 felt wrong. It wasn't a terrible set. It was a mediocre set. But compared to the rest of the summer just really, it was a great summer for Lego Star Wars last year. It really was. Anything else on that list, Afton?
No, I mean the biggest factor really is just price. I mean, yeah.
So yeah, with that, we hope you guys enjoyed this. Let us know if you guys agreed or disagree with this list. Let us know what your guys' favorite and least favorite sets of 2022 were. With that, we hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe on the Yub. And don't forget to hit that download and follow on the pod. With that, we will see you guys in the next one. See ya.
Peace.